it's become more welcoming. I think the church was always welcoming, but probably more so since we became a reconciling congregation. It was more intentional. But we've always had an active community that tried to embrace everyone. And so that is kind of one of the things that we loved the most about being part of St. Paul's. But it's had several evolutions because obviously you get different pastors, you get COVID, and so you see the changes that churches go through. And being a longtime member, I'm encouraged by what I see now and the involvement of new folks, and I think we have good leadership at the church.
We started attending about 6 months after the congregation moved into the permanent building here. Well, we've seen physical changes over the years. We have witnessed several parking lot additions as well as building additions like the annex and the sanctuary changes, as well as just internal, renovations, those kinds of things. But we've also seen, about the property, it was also like the seeing the goals of the church change over time. There was a time when we thought that we would expand across the bridge to a new sanctuary. And so that's why we bought all the property along 79th in Lackman, 79th Street in Lackman. And so we've seen a lot of physical changes in the land as well. Soon after we started, the church started talking about LGBTQ populations, kind of in response to the AIDS crisis. And it took a long time for those discussions to evolve over time, to talk about becoming a reconciling congregation. But that topic was near and dear to my heart, and that is what I patiently waited for our church to come to the place that we could become a reconciling congregation.
There was a constant evolving and growth and things. We were just very much alive. We had great growth, and I'm hoping that we will see that pick up again as people start to get back into the community again.
I think with each new pastor there have been changes in the way we do things. I think that the church as a whole has also kind of, as the context of our ministry around us has changed, the world's changed around us, that St. Paul's has changed with that. And I think that St. Paul's has kind of led a lot of the progressive changes in society, or been a leader in that along the way. And so I think some of those changes, just in the way we view LGBTQ rights, look at racism and things like that, have evolved as well, and in mostly positive directions through the course of the 20 years that I've been here.
The way that I look for churches is by first looking on Reconciling Ministries page for churches that are reconciling churches. And when I first moved here, St. Paul's was not yet. And so one of the big ways that I've seen St. Paul's evolve is then when I was looking for a new church, St. Paul showed up. They had become a reconciling church and had been following kind of those tenets for a while. But that was how I found St. Paul's. So that evolution alone was already a big step, I think. And then just over time, especially over the last 5 or 6 years, watching the congregation just get really curious about how we could all be better in the world that we live in, and working really hard towards that.
Well, I came during COVID, so I feel like I saw St. Paul's at a really a small moment where it was all remote, it was all online, and it's been cool to see St. Paul's grow and regrow as we've come back in person. And so I know that was hard for a while, and now we have a really great consistent worship attendance, which has been really exciting to see.